So this is Paris, and I have Cecily with me,
Hello.
who doesn't want to be here.
No, I'm not amused.
And I just made her read the first four chapters of A Race Against Time. I grew up homeschooled in a Christian home, but Cecily didn't.
Nope.
So how would you describe your upbringing compared to mine?
Secular, I guess. I don't really know another way to describe it. I just didn't grow up religious.
Our childhoods were vastly different. And I thought it'd be more interesting to have her perspective on the books I read as a kid. Because I'm a little biased to where they're sentimental to me. And that's why I kind of still like them, even though I hate a lot of the parts. But so, what was like your first reaction reading it?
I mean, I liked the first chapter. It started out interesting. I thought it was a pretty cool setup, and then it just got kind of boring with the. I just don't like the writing. I think it goes really slow, and it's also confusing at some points, which is
Mm-hmm.
not it. I mean, to be a young adult fiction book, it's kind of bland, but the plot, like the storyline, is good. It's just the writing is, bleh.
Yeah, I feel like it was written more for like 10 to 12-year olds, maybe like 8 to 12-year
Yeah,
olds
there's no
than
way.
actual like young
Yeah,
adults.
I would not be into this as a young adult.
But I
Might have.
was.
I might have liked it as a young kid. I mean, to be honest, if I read this as a kid, I'd probably think it was cool. Reading it as an adult, nope.
First chapter you liked, and I already covered that in the first video. So, second chapter opens up with like the main characters, which is like the Kraft family. So, there's Tim and Kelly Kraft, who are siblings. Tim is 14, Kelly's 13. They live on a farm in Wisconsin, and their parents are in England, and their uncle Morty, who's like a genius who graduated college, like his PhD at 14 or something.
He's strange.
He's very strange. Yes. You know, the quirky scientist doesn't fit in.
Stereotypical.
Yes, yes, stereotypical. And so Tim's out on the farm, and then who shows up but this FBI agent? Just.
Man, I mean, come on. There's no originality. It's just none.
Yeah, so FBI agent, his name is Mike. And I hate all the names in this book. I feel like they get confusing because there's
They
like
do.
Morty and Mike. There's like Tom and Tim and Hammond Helbert. Like, how do you say his name?
Hammond. Hammond.
Hammond? And then,
Hammond Helbert.
yeah, so
Yeah.
his name's just confusing. So the FBI guy shows up
I
and,
like him. He's sassy.
oh, the bad guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I have a
It's
thing for.
probably. I mean, like they have no characterization. Like it's just so bland. They're like two-dimensional characters. It drives me nuts. I feel like he's the only one with any kind of dimension, even though he's the bad guy.
Well, I feel like.
Because he had a backstory. Like they were like,
Uh-huh.
oh, his brother was smarter, but he was just as smart, and then his dad wasted all the money on his education instead of the younger brothers, and then he went evil because of it. Yada yada. Like that's actually a basis. Like that's something to build off of. The other characters, they were just like, oh, here you go, here it is, nothing.
And I feel like that's a theme in Christian books is that they only give backstory to the characters who aren't religious
Why?
because they have to have some sort of like traumatic upbringing that made them evil.
Everybody has stories. That's the point of a character. Like bad upbringing or not bad upbringing, you have things in your life that make you who you are, and to like rip that away from a character, it makes them like not a character at all, in my opinion.
No, I agree. FBI agent shows up. He's like, I need to see your Uncle Morty. And Tim's like, oh, does this have to do when he worked for the government? And the FBI agent's like, I can't tell you. And so they go find Morty, who's like painting his barn. I I really don't know why.
Why does he have a barn?
He has one cow.
One cow that he calls a herd. And then he's like, a herd can be specified in many different ways, blah, blah, blah.
Which I'm not sure if I even necessarily agree with that, because herd is plural. So for a genius, not really that smart calling one cow a herd. But regardless.
I mean, I think that was a writing flaw. Like, I think the writer was trying to make him sound smart, and it didn't. So, I don't think... It's just... It all comes back to the writer, man. Like, whatever.
It's, like, a great concept for a book. Again,
it's a good concept.
Not that the original, but...
I mean, it would be... I mean, I like the plot, like I said. It's just the writing is bland. The characters are two-dimensional. The setup is vague.
Regardless, the guy who wrote this book was a deacon, and I said that to Cecily, and she had no idea what a deacon was.
Yeah, nope. I didn't know. Don't judge me.
I think it's funny that he included that in his author description, that he is a deacon. FBI agent Mike finds Morty and says, "We need your help because, you're a computer genius." And Morty, since he's watching Tim and Kelly, just decides to take them with him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And do you feel like Kelly's like a stereotypical girl? She likes reading. Like, it was a lot of homeschoolers read Anne of Green Gables, and they hinted...
Are they homeschooled?
No, but they're raised on a farm, really conservative. Like, the guy who's writing this is a Christian. And so she mentions that she wants to go to Prince Edward Island.
Right. I actually got excited about that. I was like, oh, yeah. Something I know.
But I feel like that's another very stereotypical...
I guess. I'm not too knowledgeable about homeschooled Christian 13-year-olds.
Yeah.
If you say it is, I'll take your word for it.
I can testify. But, like, she's scared of flying. She's scared of the water. She's basically scared of everything.
Yeah.
She's not interested in technology.
They're talking about blood. She's like, I'd die. I hate blood.
Yeah. She's not dumb, and she's a great character because in other books, like, she does amazing stuff. I mean, the whole book's about the world needs them to save it. But it's like, her brother Tim, he likes computers. She doesn't. So I feel like those sort of gender stereotyping. I don't know, agree, disagree. Am I just reading too much into it because
No, I mean, I can see where you're coming from. I guess I just didn't really focus too much. I was too stuck on their two-dimensionalness and boring blandness.
Well,
like, I literally don't like any of these characters except probably for, what's his name? Hammond? The sassy
Hammond,
guy?
yeah.
Yeah. That's the only character I like so far in this book.
Yeah, well, again, I've read the whole series. It's a trilogy, 3 books. So I don't see these characters as 2D as much because, like, I know what happens to them. But Cecily, this is her first time ever reading this book in the history of her life. You might be the second person who's actually read this book.
There has to be someone else who's read this book. Right? I mean, come on.
Again, like, on Amazon, there's, like, maybe 1 review, maybe 2 or 3. FBI agents, like, we need you to save the world, and so they go on a plane, and, of course, Kelly's scared, and she's, like, praying. Did you notice that? They talked, like...
Yeah.
Because you were waiting for the religion.
I was waiting for it. I was waiting for the religion aspect to come in. I mean, I wasn't surprised because I already knew it was a Christian book. But, yeah.
Okay, do you think that the author didn't, like, sneak it in until later? Like, till chapter 2 or 3?
Yeah.
So it would hook kids first?
I mean, I know he definitely waited to sneak it in at that one chapter where... I forget, they were talking about that girl, and she's not Christian.
Oh, yeah,
she lures boys to their doom.
Yeah, so...
What kind of nonsense?
So Tim was dating this girl, and they broke up. And Kelly was happy because
It was like in the second chapter, I think.
yeah, because this chick, she was like, it's good because she's not a Christian and she lures boys to their doom.
Dramatic nonsense.
So if you date a girl who's not a Christian, you will be lured to your doom. So, again, purity culture message by chapter 2. This is what I grew up reading. So yeah, they're in the plane. There's a lot about like, the Lord's in control, praying, and of course,
I mean,
FBI.
if that plane crashes, they're just gonna be dead. The Lord ain't controlling nothing. Like, hate to tell you, kid.
If the plane crashes, that means it was God's will for them to die.
Yeah, but like, I mean, that's not very reassuring. I think he's trying to reassure that girl, and then it's like, oh, Lord's in control, even if we're dead. Like, okay.
Thanks, God.
Guess she has a legitimate reason to be afraid of everything, basically.
Okay.
No wonder she's afraid of everything.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. I know I had extreme anxiety growing up because, like the rapture, tribulation, like demons, going to hell, sinning, like even thinking bad thoughts qualified as sin. So, yeah, I wonder if she does have anxiety from her religious upbringing. That's probably not the author's intent.
No, definitely not, especially if he, is like pro-Christianity.
Yeah, he's like a deacon at his church for like so many years. So, and of course, I did notice that the FBI agent, Mike, is not a Christian because Morty says something on the plane about
Oh, yeah.
God.
Like, oh, I forgot. You were religious.
Yeah.
He said something. I forget. What.
Yeah. And so Hammond, the bad guy, and Mike, the FBI agent, anyone who's not religious is like stereotypical, is disgusted by religion. I don't know if you picked up on it, but Hammond was like, he saw like a nauseating church building. Did you see that he described it that way? So bad guy obviously isn't a Christian. So he's bad. Stereotypical, hates everyone, hates God, hates the
like
church.
The cute. Something cute. He didn't like cute. He hated cute.
Yeah, the town is cute.
I just like him because he's sassy. He's like super sassy.
And he's smart.
Yeah.
Super smart. And of course, the FBI agent is disgusted that Morty, who's a smart guy, would believe in God. So there's no characters who aren't religious who are open-minded, who are okay with other people's beliefs. It's just anti-church and everything. So another stereotype. Yeah, so you want to explain what happens next? After they get off the plane?
That was the part that I kind of like got bored with, and I started to they go to some lab. Whose lab?
Matthews.
Lab? Okay, they were
Hammond's
in his
brother.
Lab. Yeah. I'm not. You can just keep explaining. I'll just add my 2 cents here and there because I'm still confused by this chapter.
Okay, so
it was slow.
Okay, Matthew is in a coma. There is this either virus or a bacteria that has been released, and Matthew has hidden the formula, but they don't know where. They don't know that he created a virtual reality program yet. And so they're in his office, and they're trying to find, like, any information that could help them. Morty's, like, hacking his computer or whatever. And Tim and Kelly are looking over the documents, and they say, oh, he's writing a lot about virtual reality. Like, what is that? And Morty explains to them
that's where I got lost.
Yeah.
Because what kid is going to understand all that crap? I'm like, what are y'all talking about? This is a bunch of BS, in my opinion. Sorry. I don't know what young adult, air quotes, is going to follow all this. Like, it was just really slow and boring and confusing.
Yeah. And they even throw in a part about one of the kids asked what What type of DNA were they asking
Oh
about?
yeah, they're like they just said what is DNA, and he's like that's the Lord's something that he put in all people and animals. I don't know where it is.
So we've already had stereotypical
What's
atheist,
DNA?
gender roles or not really gender roles, gender stereotypes slightly. That's my bias. Purity culture and creationism, and we're only 4 chapters in. The kids are sure that Matthew has managed to create a virtual reality program, but Morty's skeptical because
Oh, yeah.
even though Matthew's a genius, he doesn't think he's been smart enough to create an actual VR program. But of course, like, this wasn't very original either. Tim leans on the shelf accidentally
Oh yeah, yeah, the secret passage that leads to the
to his real computer
yeah.
lab where all his VR equipment is set up with the computers.
That's
And
where
the
it ends.
computers like come up to their waist. Did you hear them describing all that stuff?
Yeah, I mean that's old school though. That wasn't really surprising to me.
So my only sci-fi that I read was like 90s references. Like, it's so bad.
It's pretty bad.
Everything's so big and bulky. And so they find Matthew's secret VR room, and there's 2 suits, 2 VR suits, and they're above like these little platforms that you stand on while you're in the suit. And dun 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 dun, like it ends with
Yeah, that's where it ends. They found the virtual reality thing, and then it
yeah,
ends.
that's where it ends. Oh, important detail we don't want to forget is there's 2 other FBI agents, Tom and Rost. Is that how you say his name?
Dude, I don't know. I was so lost with all those people. I'm just like, what's happening? Like, there's nothing recognizable about any of them. I'm just like, I can't differentiate one from the other.
You have Tom Howard, which we already have the Hellberts. So we don't need another last name with an H. And we already have a Tim. So I don't know why he named him Tom. And I'm guessing all these characters are white. Only one female so far, which is Kelly. And again, she's scared of everything. But the thing with Brost is a cat randomly showed up at Matthew's lab, and he let it in because he likes cats and he's holding and stuff. And I'm just going to say that's a significant thing for later in the book.
The cat?
The cat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whatever you say.
That darn cat. Haley Mills reference if you were raised on classic Disney movies because you weren't allowed to watch anything else. Overall opinion of the first 4 chapters. Do you think it's going to get better from here or worse?
If it goes back to the virtual reality world, it will get better. That was like the only interesting part.
Yes, the majority of the book is in VR.
Okay. Well, it'll probably get more interesting then.
It will.
Yeah. I'm just not a fan of the characters.
Blech.
Not a fan.
So she's not a fan of Tim and Kelly.
I mean, like, I don't know if I honestly can't say if I read this as a kid, like, if I think it was cool or what. Definitely as an adult. I'm nitpicky, I guess. I don't know. I just think it has a good plot. That's about the only good thing about this book.
I could see this being like a really good idea for like a movie, you know, like a formula being hidden in VR, and these 2 teenagers, you know, have to go in, you know, because Matthew set up like all these traps in VR to keep his brother from getting to it.
Mm-hmm.
I like the idea is good, but
Is the formula like the antidote to that disease? Or
yes.
What? Okay. What's that?
Yes.
I'm confused on how this disease even came to be in the first place.
I think they talk about that later.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because they're just like so random, like, oh, he's unconscious.
Yeah.
All these people are falling unconscious. Like, why?
Yeah, we didn't say like virus or bacterium, which I don't know why I said, oh, if it's a virus, then it's so much harder to cure because the common cold is a virus. And I'm like, what? Like, what does that have to do with anything? I don't even remember if it is a virus or not. But I'm like, obviously there is. I didn't get the point of that.
Very confusing. I feel like that's a major, like, thing in the plot, and they just, like, very vaguely brushed over it.
Ow, I just got something in my foot. Ow.
Ouch.
Okay, well, we'll be back with the rest of the book. Cecily's not happy.
You don't want to read this whole book.
I'm
Waste of
bleeding.
my
Oh
life.
my god. What did I do?
What did you do?
There's like a splinter in my foot. I moved my foot. And, oh my god. Okay, I'm going to make sure I don't bleed to death. So, bye. Say bye, Cecily.
Goodbye.